Electrical safety controls. Objectives: familiarize personnel with electrical safety as it relates to controlling electrical hazards. Introduction: this topic is not intended to qualify you to work on electrically energized equipment or work near exposed energized electrical parts. No employee or contractor is permitted to work on energized equipment or work near exposed energized electrical parts. Note: you must assume that all electrical equipment and electrical parts are energized until you have locked and tagged out the equipment and verified that there is no electrical energy present. Engineering safeguards. Engineering safeguards can be as simple as a light switch cover or a door on the breaker panel. Internal barriers on some equipment ensure workers are not exposed to energized parts. Barriers include covers over terminal posts, breaker panel covers, and other similar items. One of the more common controls involves the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. GFCIs may be fixed or portable. GFCIs will typically be required in the mill when we are using portable electric tools. They will also be required when we are working in damp or wet locations and in similar areas. Administrative controls. Administrative controls refer to procedures such as lockout, tagout, control documents, training, warning signs, labels, and tags. These labels also include warnings for arc flash and shock hazards and are normally called an NFPA label. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, is the organization that sets standards and guidelines regarding working around energized circuits. These labels are located on certain disconnect switches and breaker box panels. Never open an electrical cover or other safeguard that contains this label. Only trained qualified personnel, such as a certified electrician, may access these areas. For personnel who are working in a mill, if you must enter a motor control center, these labels will be prominent. Personnel who must enter an MCC must be escorted by a qualified person from the mill. Always use the PJSA, or pre-job safety assessment, to determine if there are any electrical hazards that could affect your work. Inspection. Prior to using electrical equipment, perform a visual inspection on the cord, prongs, guards, and other parts of the tool or equipment. Any damage that could adversely affect the use of the tool or equipment should be reported to your supervisor and removed from service immediately. When using fixed wired equipment, periodically check the conduit and other electrical components for damage. Verify that you have access to circuit switches in case of an emergency. Finally, avoid wearing jewelry and other conductive metals when there is a possibility of coming into contact with electrical equipment. Personal protective equipment. Personnel who must work around energized circuits must have the appropriate PPE. Warning: employees and contractors are not permitted to work around unguarded, energized circuits. And even though we do not work on unguarded, energized circuits, there are certain types of PPE that we can wear to minimize the potential for a shock. Ensure that your hard hat is at least a Class G or E hard hat. These offer some electrical protection. And finally, keep your boots clean and dry as much as possible. Quiz. 1. One of the more common controls involves the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. A, true, B, false. 2. GFCIs will be required when we are working in damp or wet locations. A, true, B, false. 3. Never open an electrical cover or other safeguard that contains an NFPA label. A, true, B, false. 4. Prior to using electrical equipment, perform a visual inspection on the cord, prong, guards, and other parts of the tool or equipment. A, true, B, false. 5. Employees and contractors are not permitted to work around unguarded, energized circuits. A, true, B, false.